Welcome back to the D Class Moto Podcast, where Connor and myself, Haiden, talk about crap that we did when we were younger and are currently doing in the moto community. Start us off, Connor.
Oh, also, this time there's got to be some sort of punishment every time we say the word like.
Yeah,
because sorry to everyone, we are apparently the worst at saying like too much, and I didn't realize it until I was editing.
Yeah. So
every time one of us says, you can say the word like if it makes sense, but if it's just a filler word, then what are we gonna have to do?
How about we just be mindful of it, okay? Because I don't want to penalty. Break my arm. I'm going into surgery tomorrow with a broken arm.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we're just gonna be mindful of it. If it becomes an issue for this episode, third episode, there's gonna be a major penalty every time.
I'm cool with that.
All right. So we're gonna try our best. So to start off, I wanted to mention the intro song is a very special song to me. So here's what happened. Last week, me and Haiden filmed the first episode, and I was looking for some music to go as the intro and outro.
Not copywritten.
Well, here's the problem is there's websites where you can buy music, and it's like, $20 for a song.
Yeah. But
the problem is it's like a gray area of like how many times you can use the song.
Mm-hmm.
So it says in the fine print, $20, this is for one use of the song. So I don't know if that means like for one podcast or for one episode of the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I was thinking, what can I do to get around this? And I popped in my head, there is one song that I fully own the copyright to, and that is the song that my middle school band named Life Sentence performed this song called Wait. We had it recorded, and I was like, this is perfect. Dude. And it kind of matches like the moto vibe.
Yeah, I think it really.
I had to rip it from YouTube because I didn't have it on my computer. So ripped my own song from middle school from YouTube, threw it into the intro, and I think it fits pretty well.
Yeah, and the meme of the government like, you can't do that, that's illegal. But that's my own song.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the intro song. Hope you guys like it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to hear the full song, it's on my middle school YouTube channel. I'm going to let you guys just find that on your own if you want to find it. Gosh. But
that's hilarious.
Great song.
Yeah, dude. Well, I kind of wanted to start off with kind of introducing ourselves. I know in the first podcast we kind of talked about how we got into moto, but we're adults and we both talk about
like what we do now.
We have full-time jobs. I'm a certified Mercedes-Benz technician.
Hayden's a mechanic.
Yeah, I'm a glorified mechanic with like more qualifications than I know what to do with. But yeah, I work for Mercedes-Benz and I work on cars that I can't afford. It's pretty cool. Gave me a ton of experience being able to work on like dirt bike engines and stuff like that. So I don't pay anybody to work on my bike. I work on it myself. And I work on Connor's bike. So.
Well, I work on my bike too. You make it sound like I'm Connor's mechanic.
I'm definitely not Connor's mechanic, but I will say I do help Connor if he asks.
It is nice having Hayden to help out because right now the valves are out of spec. Is that the proper way to say it?
There is a fine tolerance in which the shims in a 4-stroke need to be adjusted to. Basically, the shims are out of spec, creating a gap or not enough gap for your valve seats.
Basically, in not motor sense terms, my bike won't start and there's an error. Yeah. But
there's an error.
I mean,
it's broken.
Yeah. I feel like I'm like decently savvy when it comes to motors and things like that.
You know way more than a lot of the people we go to the track and meet, which is like, don't discredit anybody that we meet at the track, but I will say you do meet some people and like, I'll try and talk about like, oh, I tuned my carburetor and I put this jet in, and they're like, dude, I've never even jetted a carburetor. And I'm like, oh, I never even thought of that. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. I had jetted my carburetor before I even met you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I enjoy like learning things like that and figuring out like something's broken and then I search a YouTube video and figure it out.
Certified YouTube
and
mechanic.
then that's what I am.
Yeah. And I will say, you did teach me a good significant amount of knowledge on like
what was something? There was something the other day that I told you about, and you're like, "Oh, that makes sense." It was literally 2 days ago.
I don't know, but you impressed the crap out of me when you did that wheel bearing. I mean,
yes,
crushed,
was it yesterday?
2
days ago.
Yeah, like 2 days ago.
We were watching the Braves game, and I knocked my front wheel bearings were absolutely shot.
Dude, it was bad. Like
knocked them out in like
dangerously
15
bad.
minutes.
Yeah,
because of a YouTube video. I just searched front wheel bearings, dirt bike. Just followed along, super easy.
You did help me out a ton with my front forks. So when I bought my bike, it was so clapped out. The front forks would leak every time you'd compress them. So basically, anytime you rode, they would leak. And I didn't have a front brake because I had fork fluid all over my front brakes. And I'm like, this is a huge number one safety concern. We need to address this immediately. So Connor helps me out because he had already done forks in his 01 CR125.
Yeah, luckily it was the exact same forks.
Exact same forks. And so he's like, yeah, I've already done this before. We knocked it out. The first one took a little bit longer, but the second one was like obviously cake. But
it's easy.
I feel like I've developed almost a photographic memory. Like I can look at something or do something once and remember a great deal of knowledge about it. But to the extent, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like I'm about to have to redo the forks on my new bike because now my right fork is doing what Hayden's was, where every time I compress, we were riding last weekend. You weren't there, but me and David were riding, and I got back and I was like, what is all over my front rim? And I was like, oh, that's fork fluid. I noticed it was like barely starting to leak. And I ordered one of those Sealmate. I think it's called a Sealmate.
Yeah.
That just cleans it out. So I figured there hadn't been much lost. And then Saturday, it was just like almost pouring out.
Oh my goodness.
I decided, well, guess I'm rebuilding these forks. But I feel pretty confident about it because it's a KYB fork instead of, or I guess
we both have.
No, ours were KYBs.
Yeah, we had KYBs.
But you know, it's a
completely different fork.
15 years newer.
It's a completely different fork. We had like people with like, you know, caveman tools building forks for us in 2000.
No,
but now
it's not that bad.
No.
But I do feel, I mean,
it inspires a lot of confidence.
Fork seals will be really easy this time around.
Knowing that we've done it once, it'll definitely inspire some confidence.
So you want to get back to what you do for a living? Or
I'm pretty good with that. Like, I mean, if y'all have any questions, like hit us up, but I don't want to waste a bunch of time talking about things that aren't like, for me at least, talking about like dirt bikes, but Mercedes tech.
Yeah. So what I do for a living is video production. So I work for a company. We own 3 fishing TV shows, and then we also have a podcast that I produce. And it's all like a lot of video. I shoot slow motion video for our TV shows and do some marketing things like that. So that kind of translated over perfectly when I was like, yo, Hayden, we should start a podcast. I was like, I already know how to do the video, the audio, the editing, the production. So
yeah, you do, and you crushed it, man.
If y'all think that there's someone behind the scenes doing all the switching for us, no, just us two. Maybe once we're super famous, we'll have our own producer, but right now it's just us. But yeah, so that's what I do for a living, and then just love working on dirt bikes and riding dirt bikes. I also love fishing. I'm sure we'll talk about that eventually, but it is fun getting to work in the fishing industry, filming some fishing content and shooting some shows, things like that.
Yeah. Connor is like the most humble person I've ever met. Like I thought what I did was pretty cool. And then I met Connor and I was like, crap, dude, this guy literally.
We both have cool jobs.
Sure. And like, I'm not like, I don't envy what you do and wish that I wish I did what you do, but I don't know. You're very like humble about it. And you didn't really be like, oh yeah, I do this and I do all that. It was like every week I would kind of like learn something new. You didn't just like explode all this information on me and like brag about it. You're just like super casual.
Well, one thing that I like to tell people is like I have people that are like, oh man, you have the coolest job ever. And she's like, because like I decided I wanted to work in the fishing industry, and you don't have to like be a professional fisherman, like fishing every day to get to work around fishing shows and be fishing like for even, you could do the same thing in the motocross industry. If I said I want to work in the motocross industry, professionally, anyone could go find a job that they want to do in that industry, unless you're like,
Yeah.
shoot, even if you're like an accountant, you could go be an accountant for some cool motocross brand or some cool fishing brand. Or
you're so right, dude.
I have a lot of friends that work at like a big 4 accounting firm or at some like random marketing agency.
Mm-hmm.
And like, maybe they make a little bit more money than me, but I don't know. I really enjoy what I do, and I'll take a little bit of a pay cut to be able to work in an industry that I really enjoy. And I would encourage people, if they don't like their job, then go look for something. Right now, unemployment's like at its
There's a lot of jobs, man.
Well, there's a lot of jobs available right now. So if you don't like your job, then pick an industry you like and go for it.
I think that's why I kind of was so impressed with like your field, was just because in a way it kind of resembled what I did. When I was in high school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I went out and did it. I wanted to be in either the automotive field or diesel field. I wanted to work with my hands. And when I got the opportunity to be a Mercedes tech, that was like a huge achievement for me, because not everybody gets that kind of position, let alone the opportunity to go into the program. So like,
Haiden was talking about me being humble. Didn't you score like in the top like 1% of your class or something?
I had a great achievement. I was a B student like my entire high school. Like BC, like I had a couple of D's like Spanish and stuff like that. But
I'll need that.
But I don't know. I never applied myself in high school at all. I didn't see myself in high school as like an overachiever by any means. But when I got to college, man, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew how to approach it, and I just attacked it, man. And it really excelled me into my program. I was in the top 2 of my class graduating, and then Mercedes saw that, and they're like, hey, we'd be totally interested in like, seeing if you're a fit for us. And so went into their school, did their training and program, and then boom, man, like popped myself out of there, second in the class. Should have been top of my class, but we're not going to talk about that. And I'm just grateful to like, I had the opportunity to go into that program, graduated, and I work at an amazing dealership. Love the people that I'm with. So, I mean, love what I do, man. Like I get to work with my hands and fix problems on things. Like it's really cool. I like it.
Yeah.
But
you want to talk about some dirt bikes? You have a story you want to talk about, right?
Yeah, man. I made a trip to Michigan not too long ago for a wedding, and I got to hang out with one of my buddies who I grew up with riding dirt bikes, and he really kind of like influenced me in the dirt bike industry. And all I remember, like all of our major moments together, we were doing something extremely dangerous and like probably I was probably breaking the law a lot of the time. We were middle of traffic, on a dirt bike or something. But there was one time, so my first ever, my personal own motorcycle, it was like a 2000 and honestly, I don't even know what year it was. It was a pile. It was probably like an 07.
What, that dual sport you had?
No, that was a 1995, but I owned this before I owned the dual sport.
Okay.
It was a mid 2000s Suzuki GZ 250. So it looks like a cruiser bike, but it's only 250 cc's of air cooled garbage. And it was way too nice of a bike for me to be riding the way I did. I don't even know if I had a rev limiter, dude. I would just rev it to the moon, and I never hit the rev limiter.
Really?
So I don't know, but I would do so many stupid things on that thing. It was dangerous because like it was so slow. I would push it way beyond its capabilities all the time. And one of those times, my buddy Aaron and I were tandeming this thing off road. And we're going up because he lived in a cul-de-sac. We were going uphill on loose grass and dirt and soil, like in dirt bike ruts, because this is where my buddy would ride his dirt bike.
Tires? Yeah,
on street tires. And we were going in the front end, just washed so hard, and he's riding on, tandem. He's right behind me, and we're laughing the whole way. Washes the front, spills the bike just slides. My buddy Aaron, who weighed at least 20 pounds more than me, lands on me and pancakes me into the ground. And I'm just like covered in dirt and like debris and stuff. And I get up and I'm like wheezing, like I'm like, and he's just like, dude, that was insane. And he's like going to high five me, and I'm like, can't breathe. And he's like, oh, dude, are you okay? And I'm over here like gasping for air, like I thought I was dying. And then like I finally get the wind, like the wind was knocked out of me, and I finally get like my breath back, and I'm like, dude, that was crazy. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is just, it's just. I don't know. We were absolute menaces to society on that thing, and ended up like twisting the forks on that so many times. I had to like loosen the triple clamps in order to like get them all straight again. And yeah, we would wreck that thing. I bent the front fender. I bent a plastic fender. Don't know how I did that, but you know,
get like that sometimes.
But that bike was extremely dangerous. I hated that thing, but it was like the only thing I had, so I had to use it. But yeah, my buddy Aaron and I, we would go ride down streets, and we would find a good spot to like park and mess with traffic and stuff. We would act like there was a rope in between us, and we would like pull it tight, and like a car would drive in and be like, like we're getting drugged by this rope. But yeah, he and I were just like troublemakers, and that was one of the things that we got in big trouble with, because my mom and my dad and his mom and his dad were not happy with that situation.
Really?
Yeah, because we're trying to sell the bike too, and you know, get it out of here, and
tore it all up,
man. It was bad.
It's hilarious.
But
speaking of wrecks, why don't we talk about
the other day?
No, when we were.
I want to talk about the other day.
What was the other day?
Halloween.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
We can talk about that.
We're gonna talk about that first.
All right. So I dressed up as Hot Rod for Halloween. Hayden was Joe Exotic.
Mm-hmm.
Both had a great time. Mm-hmm. But when we dressed up on Friday for our friends having a little get together, and we didn't get any good pictures. And I spent $50 on this Hot Rod outfit. I was like, I'm gonna get a good
Rod Kimble
photo of me riding. I wanted to get on Hayden's dirt bike because Hayden's dirt bike matched the whole Hot Rod theme a little better than mine.
Honda red.
So we were over at Hayden's house yesterday. I don't even know what we were doing. We got Hayden a new workbench. And
we were just goofing around.
Basically just goofing off. We were supposed to pull the motor on my bike yesterday and didn't do that.
Yeah.
Because we took so long taking these awesome pictures. Get on my Instagram and find them. Actually, I posted them on TikTok too.
Yeah. They'll be up there.
If you don't already, you got to check out D Class Moto Pod on TikTok.
It's fire.
We've been at it for about a week, and honestly, it's going pretty well on TikTok.
Yeah, way better than I thought it would. Way better.
We had a video go
semi-viral.
It was low viral status of Hayden taking someone out, which we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yesterday, we were taking pictures, and in Hot Rod, there's like a crucial, or not a crucial, but like an iconic moment where he jumps off this like 2-foot curb. And we're trying to.
That is like a curb, like on a street curb. So
yeah, it was like a tiny little curb.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to replicate that on Hayden's bike, and I sent it off the curb, got like 2 inches of air, which was exactly what I needed to do for the photo. Got an amazing photo of it. But after that, I landed and I had so much speed that I went into Hayden's neighbor's driveway, which had like
loose.
It wasn't loose. It was like a pebble driveway, but it had a clear coat on it.
Yeah.
So on dirt bike tires, it was pretty dang slick. And I slammed on the back brake, and I think I slammed on the front brake and tried to turn towards the sidewalk, and front end just washed out, and I snapped Hayden's clutch lever right off.
Clean off. There was no bend. It just shattered and like broke off.
Hayden's been talking about
getting
forever
levers.
How he wants to get a whole new clutch perch anyway. So
yeah, clutch perch, brake lever.
I told him, I was like, well,
here's my great
now's
excuse.
your chance. I'll contribute a little bit of money to it since I just smashed yours. But
it is so funny though watching you like wreck my bike, because you felt horrible about it, and I didn't. I think it was hilarious.
Yeah, my bike thought it was funny.
My bike was just puking gas all over my neighbor's driveway.
Felt really bad. And like your friends were there that didn't know.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
they're like,
oh, they're gonna think I don't know how to ride a dirt bike on flat ground.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's hilarious. Yeah,
I thought about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't. That never crossed my mind at all the other day, but That was just so funny. That whole moment was just iconic. I'll never forget that. That was just hilarious.
Well, I'm glad because
it was so funny. Just
we did get it was worth it for the amazing photos we got.
Yeah, I think the best part about it was the hot rod cape, just like flapping in the wind as you just dump my bike, and you're like, oh, and I'm like, it was like so.
I wish we had a video.
I know it was like so hot rod nature. Like Rod Kimble would be so proud of that moment because he was just like a goofball and like do goofy stuff, like the little moped doing donuts in the gravel driveway, and
well, y'all go check it out. So I posted the photos of it on our TikTok, and then I also posted on my Instagram at Connor Grimes.
It's good. You
should definitely go look at the photos because they turned out. I'm so proud of how they turned out.
Yeah, it really
felt.
Cool.
I'm not really like one of those like extra people when it comes to taking photos for Instagram and stuff. Usually, I just like I get some stuff and then it's like, oh, this is cool. I'll post it. But we like set everything up yesterday.
Yeah, it was cool.
I felt kind of weird about it, but it turned out hilarious. So
yeah, and I live in like a suburb, so. It's kind of where we keep
we were making
bikes.
A lot of noise with the 2-stroke.
Yeah. Where I had the 2-stroke wide open. But yeah, we kind of get in trouble sometimes riding our dirt bikes in the neighborhood, but we keep that on the DL.
Yeah. I try to not. Well, then the 4-stroke you can kind of get more away with.
Yeah, people are like, oh, it's just a.
Well, it's the lower tone. So the other thing is the 4-stroke you can like kind of just like
you can putt around on it.
With the 2-stroke, you gotta like hold it wide open, even if you're just driving around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
we'll definitely tag a photo of the broken lever. I think I got a couple pictures of like your reaction.
Okay.
We'll throw that up there.
Oh yeah, we'll throw. So I'll post the hot rod pictures on D Class Moto Pod Instagram too.
Yeah.
And we'll post the lever, and
yeah, we'll post some pictures.
We gotta start posting more on that Instagram anyway.
Oh yeah, I think we will. Yeah.
Everyone, make sure you also follow D Class Moto Pod on Instagram. Or the same thing on Instagram and TikTok. Those are like the two places we post, and YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
If you want to watch this podcast, if you're listening,
I highly recommend.
You can watch it. Just search D Class Moto Pod or D Class Moto Podcast on YouTube. The first episode's already up. Second episode, if you're listening to this, then it's already up too. So if you want to see us looking like goofballs, then be sure to check it out.
It's a good time. I'll talk about what happened the first time I ever raced a dirt bike.
So this is the video that went semi-viral on TikTok. Yeah. Luckily, Haiden was wearing a GoPro. And
I know. Yeah, so I'd always wanted to record myself riding a dirt bike. I want to be able to like watch what I did so I can like learn from it.
Yeah.
And I guess I learned the hard way.
I don't think that was your fault.
I'm pretty sure it was my fault.
If y'all don't know, TikTok comment section gets pretty spicy when there's something controversial going on. And for the most part, everyone in the comments said that it was the other person's fault. Yeah. So some people were like, "Oh, you idiot. You should be passing them cleaner."
I think it's a product of...
If you look at so I'll just explain quickly what happens in the video. Or do you want to? Or
you can, you go for it.
We were down at Scrub and Dirt, Monroe, MX, whatever it's called, Scrub and Dirt in Monroe, Georgia, doing our first race ever. I think we briefly mentioned that on the last podcast. But this was during, I think, the beginner class race.
Oh, yeah. Super beginner class
race. So me and you were both in that race.
Yeah.
And Haiden, this was on the finish line jump. Haiden was jumping. This guy jumped in front of him. And to me, it looked like, so you were on the left side. He landed right in front of you, like basically right before you. You landed. And as you were landing, he cut in. It looked like he kind of like did it on accident. But he cut in. Y'all made contact. He ended up, if you watch the video and like go frame by frame, you can see his tire just going boom, boom, boom. And it goes like straight right as he's going out of frame. Kid went down pretty hard.
The bike flipped. I saw out of the corner of my eye. His feet there. And I was like, gosh. Oh, geez.
I obviously didn't see any of it because I was somewhere else on the track. But there were the kids that were beside us that were, I think we mentioned last time, like we were having a good time with them. They were like our pit crew for our last race. Yeah. But you mentioned something about how you wrecked someone, and they're like, "You wrecked that guy? That was the gnarliest crash ever." Apparently, it was pretty.
The crowd was a fan favorite of the day.
Apparently, it was pretty bad. The kid didn't race second moto. I felt kind of bad, but
I felt horrible, dude. So I'd been battling this kid like
I watched
since
the GoPro.
gate drop.
It was like at least 3 laps where you were stuck behind him.
Since the gate drop, I was behind him. I was chasing him down. I showed him tire like a bunch of times. It was impossible for him to not know I was there because I had made like a pass, just didn't have the drive. There's like a 2-lane, and I would be out in front of him, but then they would switch back and he'd be out in front of me. So we were battling back and forth for a good couple laps. I had this really great drive off the finish line jump. I had just hit the corner just right, got the power band just right. Great drive up the face of the jump, and he didn't. And so I cleared the jump, landed, and as I'm landing, I realized, dude, I'm gonna hit this guy. And
so because you guys didn't both take the same line.
No,
the finish line.
So it was
he must have cased it, and he somehow came in because you held your line. He somehow came in.
Yeah, we both took a weird line at the finish line. I took it more of like trying to cut the inside. So basically, I jumped this way, he jumped this way, but he jumped before me, and it was like and then we both met at the end, and I smacked him. And before I even made contact with the guy, I was apologizing. I was like, sorry. And then it was like, boom, crash. And then he goes over the bars and loses control. And I'm like, do I stop? Do I turn around? Like, this is my first time racing. Like, do we do this? And then the thought that came into my mind is just like, how many times AP has taken somebody out, or like how many times Fernandez has taken somebody out. And
but you can't stop when you're in a race.
No,
right?
yeah. I'm like, if I was a pro, I would definitely not be stopping. And so I just put the throttle back on and kept going about the race. But I felt so bad. As soon as I got off the track, I waited for him to come back around, and I caught up to him and I apologized. And I'm like, man, I feel so bad. Like, I don't know if you've raced before.
I don't think it was your fault, but it was like a racing incident. Y'all go look at the video and
you decide.
Leave a comment of whose fault you think it was. I think that it was not your fault.
Yeah, and
it was either just a racing incident or it was his fault.
I definitely think it was a racing incident and a product of like amateurs. If these were two like pros, obviously this would have never happened.
There was one kid I kind of argued with in the comments. He was like, "This is why C class sucks so much."
Oh yeah,
and I jokingly I come back and I was like, "Bro, what are you talking about? This is D class."
Yeah,
he goes, "Even worse." I was like, dude, why is everyone hating on these beginner classes?
Yeah.
That's literally the point of it.
This is how I get my feet wet. This is how I like gain experience. Like, I learned so much from that battle. Like, all I wanted was to just have like bar to bar, battling. Like, because there's a lot of separation in like just overall skill. I feel like anybody could have won on any of the bikes in the class, just down to skill.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of just battling in the mid pack, and it was just a racing incident. But yeah, that was a fun time though. I wouldn't take it back for anything. It was learning.
Worth it.
It was a great learning experience. But
well, I think there's a chance I might be racing back at Monroe this weekend.
Fire up.
I guess this podcast will come out after that, but I'm hopefully racing down this weekend. You might potentially join. Hayden's you mentioned literally like the first 5 seconds of the episode. You're like, I'm getting surgery tomorrow, but you never said what's going on. So
yeah, I'm getting my leg cut off. Just tired of looking at it. I'm getting my wisdom teeth pulled out tomorrow, and kind of nervous, but it'll be fine. I'm not worried about. I trust the medical professionals getting in there and ripping my teeth out. But
yeah, so today is a Monday. So Tuesday, Hayden gets his wisdom teeth out. We're hoping by Saturday he'll be good enough to race. We'll see though, because hopefully we don't have any more incidents.
Hopefully.
And there's a few people that follow us on TikTok that were at the race, so hopefully we get to meet up with them, try and find them,
mingle.
We'll see, but I think that's about it. This is kind of a shorter podcast because so Hayden's getting his wisdom teeth out, so we couldn't do anything the rest of the week.
I'd be drugged down my mind.
I'm going to the race this weekend, then a wedding, and then Monday I need to go to Florida for a week to film for work. So we kind of had to throw a quick one together, but I thought this was a blast.
This is fun.
We got some awesome stuff talked about, and can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, definitely. Check it out. And for anybody watching this on YouTube, you'll enjoy the background. So
yeah, we got I inherited this deer butt. It's literally like a stuffed deer butt that you hang on the wall. So
It's freaking great.
if you see it on YouTube, be sure to leave a like.
Drop a name for it. We gotta get a name for it.
I don't know if we have a name for it, so.
Need a name
But-
for it. But I guess
All right,
we'll
well,
end
yeah,
it on there.
that's it for tonight. We will see you guys next week on the D Class Moto Pod.
Peace out.